Agatha and her fellow nurses were going through a period of deep mourning and sadness due to the recent loss of patients in the hospital's pediatric ward. Despair hung in the air when a teenager burst through the hospital doors, breathless and with trembling hands, holding a mysterious shoebox. What Agatha would find inside that box would leave everyone stunned, about to witness something truly amazing. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. Agatha was a dedicated nurse working in the pediatric ward of a large hospital. She deeply loved her job, but was also aware it came with an extraordinary emotional burden. Every day, she witnessed the courage and fragility of sick children, their families desperate for hope, and often the harsh reality of life. Agatha had decided she wanted to be a nurse from a very early age. The seed of this desire was planted during a bus trip when she was just a child. She was on her way to visit her grandmother in a distant city, accompanied by her mother. Night was falling rapidly, and there were still many hours ahead on the dark road. The bus was continuing its journey with the sleepy passengers cozily settled in their seats when something terrible happened. An animal unexpectedly crossed the road, forcing the driver to make a sudden maneuver to avoid a collision. The abrupt maneuver caused the bus to overturn, turning the scene into instant chaos. People were thrown from their seats, and the inside of the bus was filled with screams of terror, crying and despair. Broken glass and flying objects made the scene even more chaotic. Agatha and her mother were thrown to the opposite side of the impact, with the bus now upside down. People were in panic, completely disoriented and lost after the accident. Agatha and her mother, though slightly injured, were safe. However, chaos reigned among the passengers. At this critical moment, a courageous woman emerged as an unlikely leader. She began to assess the situation of the injured and guide others to help. No one knew how long it would take for rescue to arrive, but that woman seemed to know exactly what to do. She coordinated the rescue efforts and distributed tasks. Agatha watched with admiration the urgency and skill with which the woman managed the situation. The situation became even more impressive when the woman performed cardiac massage on a seriously injured elderly lady and brought her back to life. It was a moment of miracle and hope amid the tragedy. When the rescue teams finally arrived, the tireless woman continued to relay diagnoses and information about each of the injured, ensuring that everyone received the necessary assistance. Only after being sure that everyone was being cared for did she finally allow herself to sit down, exhausted but satisfied with having made a difference in that terrible situation. Agatha, deeply impressed by the woman's performance, approached her and asked, "How did you know how to do all those things? How did you know how to take care of each of those people?" "I am a nurse and work in a hospital emergency room. I face extreme situations every day," said the woman with a serene yet experienced look. Agatha listened to her words with admiration and growing determination. Agatha did not fully understand what it meant to be a nurse, but she knew that she wanted to do exactly what that woman had done that day. When it came time to choose her profession, Agatha had no doubts. She knew from an early age that her destiny was to be a nurse. The conviction she had carried throughout the years, since that fateful night on the bus, guided every step of her educational and career journey. After years of study and dedication, Agatha was finally ready to start her career as a nurse. But to her surprise, the job she got was not in a hospital emergency room, as she had hoped, but in the pediatric ward. Initially, Agatha was a little disappointed. She had imagined that her journey would begin on the front lines, dealing with emergency situations and saving lives, just like the brave woman who had inspired her that fateful night. Pediatrics seemed a world away from her original vision. As Agatha began working in the pediatric ward, she quickly realized that she could also make a difference there. She cared for sick and vulnerable children, each with their own battles and challenges. She saw courage in their small faces, determination in their eyes, and the strength they brought even in the most difficult circumstances. In the pediatric ward, Agatha not only found her calling as a nurse, but also discovered that it was impossible not to become deeply involved with the stories that unfolded there. Every child she cared for, with their battles and challenges, touched her heart in a profound way. But it wasn't just the children. Their families also became an integral part of her journey. Agatha and her fellow nurses were not just healthcare professionals. They also became the best friends and confidants of those mothers and fathers who, day after day, accompanied their children, bravely fighting alongside them. They shared smiles and tears, stories of hope and moments of despair with these families. A particular family became extraordinarily special to Agatha. It was the family of Dory, a lovely girl who had been battling a rare cancer from a very young age. Dory spent most of her life in the hospital, enduring painful and challenging treatments. Her mother, Nadine, was an example of unshakable faith, fervently believing that her daughter would recover and lead a normal life like all other children. Agatha developed a deep bond with Dory and her family over the years. She witnessed the girl's courage and Nadine's determination, who was always by her daughter's side, supporting her and believing in her recovery, even when the journey was difficult. That year, Dory was hospitalized again during the year-end holidays, and Agatha was determined to make Christmas Eve memorable for the family. She lovingly prepared a special Christmas dinner, with all of Dory's favourite dishes and a Christmas tree adorned with handmade ornaments by the children in the paediatric ward. Agatha's gesture did not stop there. She also brought her own family to join the celebration at the hospital. Her loved ones were more than willing to participate in this unique and meaningful experience. Agatha's family and Nadine's family gathered in a festive environment in the paediatric ward. Agatha was the mother of a son named Gustav, a 13-year-old teenager with a generous heart and profound admiration for his mother. Gustav understood that his mother was someone special, someone whose compassion and dedication went beyond what was superficially visible. Often Agatha would come home with a sad expression, shaken by the losses and challenges she faced at the hospital. However, Gustav understood that what made his mother so special was not just her skill, but how she viewed her patients. To Agatha, those children were not just names on a patient board, but lives, families, dreams and futures. It was just another ordinary workday for Agatha, or at least it seemed so. However, when she arrived at the hospital that day, something was different. A feeling of apprehension hung in the air, as if the entire hospital was enveloped in a heavy atmosphere. Agatha was greeted by one of her nurse colleagues with a serious expression on her face. The colleague informed her with a concerned voice that Dory, the girl with whom Agatha had a special connection, had needed to be transferred to the intensive care unit. Dory's small and fragile body seemed to be succumbing to the disease. Agatha's heart sank when she heard the news. She knew the situation was grave and that Dory was facing an even more difficult battle than before. Without hesitation, Agatha rushed to the waiting room of the intensive care unit, where she found Nadine, Dory's mother. No words were necessary at that moment. Agatha simply enveloped Nadine in a warm and comforting hug. At this moment, the attending doctor arrived in the waiting room, carrying news that everyone had feared deep in their hearts. His expression was grave and sad, and the words he uttered hit everyone present like a punch to the chest. Dory has rested from her suffering. Nadine, the girl's mother, let out a sob of pain and tears flooded her eyes. Agatha, who had shared so many special and difficult moments with Dory and her family, felt her heart break. The days that followed Dory's loss were incredibly difficult for Agatha. Losing her most cherished patient was a devastating experience, and the news of other losses in the paediatric ward made everything even more overwhelming. It was as if a cloud of sadness hung over the hospital. The loss of a child was an unimaginable pain, not only for the families but also for the healthcare professionals dedicated to caring for them. The paediatric ward staff shared a collective grief, and it was visible on everyone's faces. The enthusiasm and energy that once filled the environment had given way to profound sadness. Faced with the intense sorrow that hovered over the paediatric ward, Agatha, a woman of great faith, found a moment of silence to say a prayer in her heart. God, so many deaths have brought us immense sadness these days. We need a miracle to continue believing that there is hope for these children we care for every day. Let us witness a miracle. At that moment, Agatha's son, Gustav, burst through the hospital doors, holding a shoebox in his trembling hands. Agatha's face filled with surprise and perplexity upon seeing her son in such an unexpected situation. She opened the box and could hardly believe what her eyes found. Inside the box was a baby so small and fragile that it seemed to be only a few hours old. She ran with the baby in her arms as doctors and staff immediately mobilized to handle the situation. Gustav, still trembling with emotion, explained what had happened. "Mum, my friends and I were playing soccer on a nearby court when the ball rolled to a corner where this box was along with some garbage bags. We heard a noise coming from inside and found this baby. I knew you would help, so I ran here." The baby found in the shoebox, who was just a few hours old when rescued, became the centre of a stream of love and care that united the entire team of nurses and doctors at the hospital. He remained hospitalised, receiving the necessary medical care, while valiantly fighting for his life. Within a few days, thanks to the tireless efforts of the medical team and the baby's survival spirit, he was out of danger. Despite the police's efforts, the baby's mother was not found, and the circumstances of his abandonment remained a mystery. The story of the baby in the shoebox soon spread through newspapers and news broadcasts, making headlines that highlighted the incredible miracle of that vulnerable child's survival. The news touched the hearts of many loving families who were willing to welcome the little miracle into their lives. For Agatha, witnessing the baby's recovery and all the circumstances surrounding his discovery was the miracle she had asked for in her silent prayer. She saw the proof that even amidst sadness and loss, life could prevail and hope could be restored. The baby in the shoebox had indeed brought light and meaning to everyone involved, reminding them that even in the darkest moments, there was still life, there was still hope. His story was proof that the daily work in that paediatric ward was not in vain, but rather a mission of love and care that could change lives. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.